one of the tools that I use to overcome body dysmorphia and how I still use it in my life today. Hi, I'm Louise and I am doing this series, the Confidence Catalyst series, where I'm doing 31 videos giving you tips, tricks and tools to apply to your life to help you build your confidence. So the tool that I'm going to be talking to you about isn't just about helping you feel more confident within your body. So if you watch the video, you'll find out that there's multiple different ways that you can apply this to your life. So the tool that I used to help me overcome body dysmorphia is mirror talks. So I grew up, I'm the youngest of 3 sisters, and I used to compare myself to one of my siblings a lot. And I would always say how similar we were, you know, we both had blonde hair. And she would always dismiss me and she'd be like, no, yeah, because I'd say that we were twins and she'd be like, no, you're too fat. And I was more rounded compared to her. She also nicknamed me Chubby. So she would always call me Chubby, which was hugely damaging for the perception I had of myself. So I always saw myself as the fat sister. I was the fat one. And even though I told her multiple times and communicated how much, like growing up, I told her how much I hated it and I didn't like her calling me that, I would get very angry and upset by it, it still was relentless. And that followed me up to my teenage years. I had a lot of difficulty in the perceptions that I had about myself. She was always seen as the pretty one and more attractive, and I always felt like I was the ugly sister. In fact, it was one of the remarks that my father said to me, was that people are attracted to 3 things: kindness, beauty and success. And since I didn't possess the first 2, I had to be a success. So even my own father, by the age of 8, had told me that I was too ugly to be attractive to anybody. He told me that although I'd never be loved, at least I'd never be lonely. So I had this entire perception of myself. By the time I was a teenager, I had an eating disorder. This was not just a weight restriction, it was how I was trying to control an aspect of my life. When everything felt like it was falling apart, I would control what I was eating. So I had a lot of difficulties about accepting my appearance. When I ended up in a relationship with my ex, I thought I'd overcome. I thought that things were getting better. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Things had pivoted and I had other insecurities about my body and about my appearance. When he had an affair, he started having an affair when our youngest daughter together was only 6 months old. So I still had the postpartum body. And the fact that he'd started having an affair at that point, and the way that he was talking about me and my appearance, my body and everything to this other woman, because I had all of the messages, it was incredibly painful. By the point that I found out he'd already worn down my confidence so much that I couldn't look in a mirror. I couldn't bear to look at myself in the mirror, and I would cover full-length mirrors. I'd just drape clothes over them. I would walk past and I could glance and quickly scan my face, but not actually pay much attention. So I could, I'd just look at where I was doing my eyeliner and then I'd walk out. But I wouldn't look in a full-length mirror at my body. I was so repulsed by my own reflection. And it was really, really difficult. I didn't want my daughters, because I had 2 young daughters at that time, and I didn't want my daughters growing up with this insecurity about their appearance. I didn't want them to feel the way that I felt. So I made a commitment that I was going to reach a point where I could look in the mirror. And that was it. I just wanted to be able to look in a mirror. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you are at that point, when you are suffering with your mental health to that degree, it's a hard ask to be able to do that. What I started doing is because I'd covered the mirrors, I would just reveal the bottom. I would just look down and I would compliment myself from my toes, and I would walk, I would work my way up, and I would compliment my toes and find something positive about each aspect of my body. And I did this. I'd stand in front of the mirror and I'd look in the mirror and I'd be like, I have nice toes. They're a nice shape and I like my nail varnish. And then I'd look and I'd be like, I have nice size feet because I only have UK size 5 feet, so I've got pretty small feet, so that's nice. And then I'd look at my ankles and I have slender ankles, and it's like, so I don't have cankles, I don't have like chunky ankles, I can wear boots and I don't have any issues or anything, so I like my ankles. And I would work my way up my body little bit at a time, and I would get so far and it would become emotionally draining for me to continue to do this exercise. So I wouldn't even get to my head. It sounds silly, but at that point, being able to compliment myself, to look at my reflection, even if it's just focusing on one part of me and complimenting that part of me, was so far out of my comfort zone that I was getting a physical reaction. So I would feel nauseous, or I would be crying, or I wouldn't even be able to get the words out. I would just stand there and I'd just be staring there. I can't think of something. What, like, it was hard, and I knew that I had to progress. So every single day I made the commitment, and I did these mirror talks where I just look at my reflection and I would compliment small aspects of myself. And eventually I got to the point where I could look at myself in the mirror and I could look at my reflection, and I learned to compliment my reflection when I saw it, and it became something that I would challenge myself to do. So whenever I was walking through a shopping centre and I saw my reflection, I would have to think of a compliment, to compliment myself in my head. Didn't have to say it out loud if I'm out in public, but I would just say, your hair looks nice, or the outfit you chose today looks nice. It was like something in my head, and it would be like, you have a nice figure. It became less and less about the material things, like the clothing and everything else, and I started to be able to compliment myself. It's like, you look really pretty today. I became more comfortable with complimenting myself. And that's the thing. It is not about this massive, grandiose gesture of, like an epiphany where everything fell into place. It was a decision that I made and a commitment that I continued to do. And that's how I managed to transform how I saw myself. Now, there were lots of other things. I did journaling and EFT tapping when I felt really insecure about parts of my body. Like when there were parts of my body that I'd read my ex-husband's messages where he'd criticised parts of me and stuff. And there was a lot of trauma that I'd attached to those parts of my body, like, how repulsive they were and all of this kind of thing. And so I would do journaling on kind of like why I felt that way and where those ideas had come from. So it was multi-layered, but the main thing that really transformed me was the mirror talks. Mirror talks can be used to not only help you build your confidence in the way that you see yourself physically, like to start complimenting yourself and your appearance, but you can also do it to reaffirm how you see yourself in other ways. So if you want to feel more comfortable with earning more money, you can look in the mirror and you can go, you are the perfect height, the perfect weight, and the perfect appearance for a millionaire. There you go. Because a lot of us have ideas of what a millionaire would look like. Or if you want to look at yourself in the mirror and just say, you are the perfect look for an entrepreneur. And that's it. And you start, so you can find what you want to connect to. So earning more money, like you look like a money magnet in that outfit. That's, you just kind of start coming out with, but you say these things to your reflections. You can start to train your brain to, so it's almost like the affirmations, but you're looking at yourself in your reflection and you are saying it to yourself. So mirror talks can be absolutely transformational if you are struggling with how you perceive yourself, if you are struggling with body dysmorphia or an eating disorder or anything else like that. Then there is help that you can get. There are ways that you can actually overcome it. I know I've overcome them. So like there is help out there. If you need professional support, I beg you, please go and track it down, find it. There are lots of charities that are doing work out there to help. But in the meantime, just start being kind to yourself and start complimenting yourself. And if you want to change the way you perceive yourself, don't just use the affirmations in your head. Try doing mirror talks where you look at your reflection and you say the thing you want to believe about yourself. Okay. If you are getting value from this course, please don't forget to like and share and tell people about it. Please remember to subscribe to the channel because I do want to monetize this channel so that I can remove the ads from my subliminal recordings because those are annoying. And yes, if you want to learn about the Unshakable Confidence mini course that I have created, you can always follow the link that is in the description. Until then, be kind to yourself. Take care and stay awesome.